then their tap fee, which I know they're two separate things. But I'm definitely for helping small businesses. But, and I know businesses who survive, like it's hard to survive past the first year or two. And I get that, but it's hard for me to vote for an abatement when we have to look at the cities as a whole and the well-being of the city, and if it's in the best interest of the city. So I'm torn.
The best interest of the city. I understand that you build something might cost the city more money and PD and maintenance, public works. I don't think the rusted beam is going to be bringing in too many criminals and things. So as far as the cost happening for the city, I don't think that there's going to be much cost to us by having it. But Brent, you're the last one.
I feel the same about Mr. Keaton over there.
Okay.
So,
Do I have a motion for that or a stair step?
I make a motion that we approve the city council's incline for the IRB recommendation of 1 year at 100%, 2 year at 50%.
Motion by Brent,
Second.
second by Keaton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, I'll make a motion to do a stair step.
I'll second.
Second by Brent. All in favor say aye.
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 I didn't second that.
Oh, second by Aubrey, sorry. Second by Aubrey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, I don't know what to do here. It's a gridlock.
Rock, scissors, paper.
Who says it that way? It's
Yeah.
rock, paper, scissors.
Send that order.
Okay, so we need to at least make a decision, because if we don't approve it, nothing happens, right?
Right, I mean, if there's not a consensus to grant the IRB, it fails.
Technically, there was a consensus, they just couldn't agree on the method.
Is it possible to do meet in the middle? Is it possible to meet in the middle and go across? Is it possible to meet in the middle and go across 5 years? 20% each year for 5 years?
You guys can choose whatever pilot program you want.
I mean,
Are we okay with that? 20% for 5 years?
I'm ready for a compromise. I mean, if we can.
Kind of meets in the middle a
Still
little
compromise,
bit.
because we don't need.
yeah.
Okay.
In what fashion would that 20%?
180.
180, yeah. 180, 60, 40.
And then drops off at 20.
Yeah, whatever it is,
Is that a motion?
yeah.
Motion by Keaton.
I'll second that.
Second by Aubrey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, all against?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes.
Thank you very
All
much.
right, thank you.
This is item H.3. This is a sound application waiver and fireworks display permit for the Genesis Aquatic Center. So the Genesis Aquatic Center would like to have a fireworks display within the corporate city limits of Goddard. All public displays of fireworks must be approved by the City Council in accordance with Chapter 7, Article 3 of the City of Goddard Code. During this event, there may be the use of amplified sound, which requires a sound waiver. Such sound is plainly audible in excess of 150 feet. It should require a sound waiver ordinance as well as allow such a sound amplification. The event will be on September 16th, which is a Saturday, from around 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. Fireworks are anticipated to be around 8 p.m. City Council is considering approving a fireworks display and sound waiver for the Genesis Aquatic Center for its grand opening on September 16th. This is Article 3. This is Chapter 11, Article 13, verbatim. This is the general spot that they have chosen for shooting off the fireworks. It should be noted that Central County also has to approve that location and have to go through a review process. Financially, a small publication cost for the ordinance. Legally, it's approved as form. It is recommended City Council waive the reading of the ordinance, and then 2, approve the waiver for the sound ordinance and the issuance of a permit for the fireworks display for the Genesis Aquatic Center. I do believe Emily McVeigh is in the crowd representing Genesis, maybe, perhaps? Is she?
I am with Michael.
Okay, so Michael. Michael O'Donnell and Emily McVeigh representing Genesis on behalf of the applicant. If you guys do have any questions for them.
I don't have any problem with it. I believe there was discussion with Angie, you're good with this, just, I know I already asked you, but just so the council knows, okay. Do we have any problem? Fireworks?
And it's Saturday the 16th, not Monday the 18th?
That's correct. I think there was a
Okay.
miscommunication at Genesis.
Yeah, the
part.
agenda for this says Monday the 18th, so just wanted to
Yeah.
Do I have a motion to waive the reading?
make a motion to waive the reading of the ordinance.
Motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Aubrey, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Make a motion to approve the waiver of the sound ordinance and the issuance of a permit for a fireworks display for the Genesis Aquatic Center.
Motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Aubrey, on roll call.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Councilmember Leland,
Yes.
Mayor Larkin,
Yes.
Councilmember Trailer,
Yes.
Councilmember Collins.
Yes.
It's gonna be ordinance 934.
Thank you very much. This is item H.4. This is a charter change for the municipal library. On March 18th of 2019, the library approached the city to change its charter, allowing for the library board composition to be 8 members inside city limits and 2 residing outside, but within the Colorado School District for a total of 10 members. This charter passed with charter ordinance number 14. Since then, the library board has found it difficult to have a quorum and to keep and retain the necessary number of members. As such, they would like to revert back to the original charter requirements under KSA 12-1222, requiring all members to reside within city limits, but reducing the requirements city limit members to 7. City Council is considering approving an ordinance that would change the charter from the library, reverting the library board member requirement back to what is outlined under KSA 12-1222. So this was the charter number 14. So section 1. That portion of KSA 12-122 requiring members of the municipal library board to be residents of the municipality shall not apply to the city of Goddard. Section 2, membership of the library board for the city of Goddard, Kansas shall be made of 10 members, no less than 8 of which shall be residents of the city of Goddard, and no more than 2 of which may be chosen from persons residing outside the city limits of Goddard, Kansas, but within the territory of USD 265. Nothing shall prevent membership of the library board existing more than the minimum number of residents of the city of Goddard and provided herein, but in no event shall members chosen from those persons residing outside the city of Goddard exceed the number provided herein. Members shall serve terms that start July 1st and end on June 31st, and the term shall be 4 years, etc. A charter ordinance shall take effect 61 days after final publication unless a sufficient petition for a referendum is filed and a referendum held on the ordinance is provided in Article 12, Section 5, Subdivision C3 of the Constitution of the State of Kansas, in which case the ordinance shall become effective if approved by majority of the electors voting thereon, passed by the city governing body on 2/3 majority vote this 18th day of March 2019. So this is what is currently in effect. This is Charter 14. What they're trying to do is revert back to the original KSA 12-122, which basically says that members shall reside within the city limits of Goddard, and there shall be 7 members, excuse me. And that is just a requirement that they're asking for to revert back to the original. That way it's easier for them to have a quorum and retain basically board members. So financially responsible publication of possible ordinance legally to approve this form. It would be recommended to the council to read the ordinance and then approve the ordinance changing the charter for the municipal library. We do have Julie, who's the current director of the library here, if you guys do have any questions for her.
This is some housekeeping stuff that I think is going to help organize the city. I think that people who sit on our library board should probably live in Goddard. I don't know, Julie, do you want to say anything? Do you have anything to say?
I just would appreciate reverting back to state statute. I've had numerous conversations with Paul Hawkins.
Would you mind coming forward?
It's
hard not to move forward.
The library and the library board were preferred to revert back to state statute. I've talked to Paul Hawkins. He's the director of our regional library system. He feels that most libraries should just revert back or stick with state statute at 7 members living in the city limits.
I think it's going to, they're going to have a full board. Right now they don't have a full board, and I think they switched back previously, correct me if I'm wrong, but you went back to it because you were trying to find people.
That's what I've been told. I mean, I wasn't here. They were struggling to find people. I don't know that that's the best decision to make it a larger board. Paul Hawkins feels like 7 is sufficient for a city this size. He feels like that's what's best for the library. And I have my vice president here that feels that way as well.
Do you guys have any questions? Do we have a problem with changing it? Going back to normal? Okay, do I have a motion to waive the reading?
Make a motion, waive reading.
Motion by Aubrey,
Second?
second by Brent. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
I got a motion to approve the ordinance changing the charter for the municipal library.
Motion by Brent,
Second.
second by Aubrey. Roll call.
Councilmember Fish,
Yes.
Councilmember Leland,
Yes.
Mayor Larkin,
Yes.
Councilmember Trailer,
Yes.
Councilmember Collins.
Yes.
And read charter ordinance number 16.
Thank you very much.
Number 16.
This is item H.5, Daughter Flag discussion with Travis Self. So on August 21st, the City Council agreed to work with Travis Self for this item, City Flag. And during the discussion with Travis, it was decided that Travis should speak with the City Council about the possibility of meeting with the Chamber of Commerce and the City Council collectively to discuss what type of brand the city is looking for. Flags or designs are part of city branding, placemaking, which helps create a unique identity for a particular municipality or location. These practices help cities stand out, create civic pride, and social cohesion while helping to foster engagement places for those who are visiting the location. City Council decided how they want to work with Travis Self to generate ideas for a flag. There is additional cost would be just for design revisions or anything else as necessary. Legally, it's approved as a form. It is recommended City Council deliberate on how they want to engage with Travis Self on a flag, design ideas, and direct staff accordingly. I do believe Travis Self is somewhere in the crowd. There it is. Yep. I've invited Travis here to speak with you guys directly. That way you can have a little more open dialogue about how you want to proceed with flag design.
Sure. How we doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
All right. So I love the idea. I think it'd be great. Personally, I want to pump the brakes for just a little bit. I still do want to work with you. But in the next agenda item, as I was looking over it, the Chamber of Commerce is looking to potentially start a tourism and economic development committee. And so I think that would be a great group to also have involved. I think over the next few years, if we're going to get a flag, we need to potentially rebrand everything. If you look at communities that have a flag, it's on a lot more than just a flagpole. And so I think if we're going to do something like this, I want to get more people involved who will be involved in the process of bringing tourism and development in the future so that we're all on one page and ultimately get a flag that's best for all of that.
I don't care. What do you guys want to do?
No, I think that's a good point. I mean, when you brand a city, it needs to encompass everything that we represent, right? So heritage, current, future, so I think we need to get a better idea of what that.
We need to decide who Goddard is as a whole,
Yeah.
what our brand is.
Yeah, you're branding yourself.
Yeah.
You guys want to put me on the flag?
I think we would. We put Hunter on there.
Okay, I guess.
Nightmares.
Is that all right with you?
Yeah, that's fine with me. So I do graphic design, so I'd love to be involved in
For sure.
Rebranding
Yeah.
for the entire community.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's
awesome.
not
It's
just
the
the flag.
beginning. I mean,
so.
it's, when you brand a city, you start with your symbolism, and then you build your community, focused around that symbolism. So that's how you become a destination, right?
Yeah. So what's the
Table it, pretty much until we
Table
talk
it.
to the chamber, and I guess you have Angie's number? Yeah.
You're gonna get it on your way back.
Okay, so Angie will talk to you and try to bring you in on the discussion and have you involved, and you guys will go from there.
Okay.
Good?
Yeah, we look forward to working with you.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's great.
Do we have to motion or we good?
No, I don't think we need to do anything, do we? No?
Not to table?
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Thanks, Travis.
Chamber proposal.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Can you hear me? I'm a lot shorter than everybody else, I think. Okay, so this is our chamber allocation request for 2024. First of all, I wanted to just say thank you for getting us in early this year. I think this might be the first year that we actually go into our budget season knowing what our budget will be instead of having to do an amended budget earlier in the year. So we do greatly appreciate that. So basically our 2024 allocation request covers several different things. We'll start with our City of Goddard Chamber Trustee membership, which basically includes, it covers all of your city employees, elected officials, and appointed officials. It also includes an ex officio seat on the Goddard Chamber Board of Directors. And those, a list of benefits can be found at goddardchamber.net. There's a lot of them. I'd be happy to come and speak with you about all the different ones, but it would have taken all night. So basically, this helps support economic growth, and the chamber directly impacts the local business environments and local economy. So win-win for everyone. And then going into our Goddard community events, we are not adding anything to the community events that we've had in 2023, but I will just briefly go over them. Again, our festivals and our community events, they are to basically bring people into our community and show off what a wonderful community we have, celebrate the citizens that we do have in our area. So we do 4 different events during the year. Neighbors United is in the spring. It will be again in the spring of 2024. I will say that we have convened several local businesses as well as some organizations to talk about moving forward on how Neighbors United will look. We are going to revert back to the model where, very similar to what we did with Fall Festival, going forward in 2024, where we do have a committee, and we will do a chairman elected from that committee, much like Fall Festival, like I said. So we will be going back to the formal model on that. National Night Out in August of 2024. We just had National Night Out in August. We had 2,500 people attend this year, so it wasn't as big as we kind of hoped, but we did have rain and cancellation of the Black Hawk, but we still had a great turnout. So Fall Festival, which we are gearing up for this year, but also for 2024 moving forward. I will say there's John Michael Montgomery tickets for sale. Please buy them. We want to have a great concert. We are looking forward to that. It's going to be a great night. But this is for next year, 2024, and looking forward to seeing how we can grow this event. And then Christmas on Main Street, again for 2024. This was a new event just a couple of years ago, and it is growing rapidly. It is by far becoming one of people's favorite events, just I think because of the Christmas season, and it kind of helps kick that off with the tree lighting with the mayor and just bringing the community out. So as you can see, we always have Santa and carriage rides. Our collaboration videos that we have been working on, which is the Goddard at a Glance videos. I did screenshots, so that's what those pictures are.
So I was saying, those are some good looking guys.
And yeah, and Shelby, she's not here tonight, but I think these have been very well received. Actually, we've gotten a lot of compliments just on the way that we're able to kind of get information out to citizens, talking about different, maybe it's city projects or community events and things like that, even highlighting some of our local businesses. And so we would really like to continue making those videos. We will have to find a new office, it sounds like, but we will find a new room to do them in. Our movie nights, we will be doing 4 this year. We've already done 3. No, we've done 2. And we'll be doing 4. So we have one coming up with Goddard Fall Festival. That movie will be Back to the Future, which is the Fall Festival theme. And then we'll do one in conjunction with the Christmas on Main Street, which will be the Muppets Christmas. So we will be doing 4. They have actually been very well attended. We've had about 150 people at the 2 that we have had. So. And we do want to thank the pool for hosting our July movie night. It was a lot of fun, and people really appreciated that. So, and then we have our farmers market. This should not say farmers market. It actually should say Goddard Main Street Market, because it is more than a farmers market, as you know. It has well exceeded our expectations this year. We were kind of hoping for about 25 vendors at the end of the year. This coming Sunday on the 10th will be our final one of the year, and we are over 80 vendors. The August Main Street Market, we actually had over 1,000 people attend. Now that includes vendors and people attending to purchase, but great turnout. So, and it was 100 degrees, I think. It was very hot. And then our administration fees, which obviously cover staff time, credit card charges, website and registration fees, postage, mailing, any of the administration costs that we would incur. in preparation for all these different items. We're also adding the communications and marketing consulting services. This kind of goes along with, which we'll talk about in the minute, the tourism and economic development. But this is, basically, I know that I've worked with the council and with staff a little bit, just talking about different ways that we can brand the city, how we market, and then as different things come up, I do have the ability to help with press releases, media, things like that. So we are offering that as a service as well. And then our Tourism and Economic Development Committee collaboration. We have started a Tourism and Economic Development Committees. Our Tourism Committee has met once. The idea is that would eventually lead into our Convention and Visitors Bureau, which would be very beneficial for the city. We are starting with just a committee to get people involved and kind of see how we grow, develop a brand. And then economic development will be, we hope to get a lot of maybe our developers and different people in to help us and work with Micah and the city on the direction that we go when we go and talk with businesses and try to attract people to our area. So the proposal for all of that, the cost would be $123,000. And I think that Matt has put it in your packet how that would be broken out. So I'm happy to answer any questions on the chamber side. I also have a couple of my board members here, which I don't want to put them on the spot, but I'm sure they'd be happy to answer questions as well. And that is all I have for you, unless you have questions for me.
I will start off. One reason why I wanted it to get proposed this way is because historically the city has financed the chamber per event. Per event we issue money, and it's just a whole lot of strings, and there's no real grasp on what the chamber's doing. By doing it one ticket item, saying it breaks it out, all of these different things, it's cleaner. It's how other municipalities across the state fund their Chamber of Commerce. But I will mention that I talked to Angie, talked to Matt. We have added an additional $30,000 in this budget because when we let go the former assistant to the city administrator, he was doing a lot of the responsibilities that Angie is doing now. And I have to be very frank, Angie's doing an amazing job at it, with all of the videos, with everything. If there's a major news story and the mayor or council or police chief or city administrator needs to have a teleprompter and a video set, they can meet up with Angie here in City Hall and get her done. And so they aren't just the Chamber of Commerce now, they are our marketing arm. They are a part of us. And by us adding $30,000 to this budget, we are saving money from that previous position that we no longer have. So it's actually a net gain. So I'll let you guys ask some questions if you have any concerns.
If you don't mind.
One question I did have, sorry, is by doing this, Angie, one general question that the council might have is, what is a good way that you would expect the council to, I guess, hold you accountable to this, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually I was going to mention that we do approve budgets for every event that we do. That has to go through not only the chamber board, but through those event committees. And so I will be bringing all of those budgets and results of all of those events to the council to do a review at the end of the year. So once Christmas on Main Street is over, then I'll come and do a recap of every event that we've done, as well as the videos and how many videos we were able to make. And I can even track how many views they got on social media and things like that. So all of that information will be coming to you and presented to you at the end of the year.
What types of videos are you doing on a collaboration?
So we've done several. As you know, we've had each of the council members interview a city staff and talk about their departments. Going forward, we've talked about doing some highlights of some different businesses that are coming in. Community events, I know that we're getting ready to do a couple more on community events. We've also done the Mayor's Award. So with each of the Mayor's Award, with the exception of one, we've sat down and done interviews with them, and they get posted. Ryan, I'm gonna kind of put you on the spot here, but Ryan and I have actually talked about, he and I doing a video as we get closer to elections and talking about the form of government that the city has and the reason why, and how it operates. Just as people go
Churches
into,
and like with Urker Health Clinic.
Yes,
and
yeah.
all sorts of things.
yeah, so Urker Health Clinic was celebrating her 1-year anniversary, and so we highlighted her and talked about our open house and things like that. So kind of across the board, but really anything that's community related. We have opened it and invited other people. Right now the challenge is trying to find the time to schedules because everybody is very, very busy. And so I'm looking at the possibility of doing a doodle poll actually with each of you to tell me what days and times are available, and then that way I can help match up with the different people that we're interviewing. So
You'll do little, like we have festivals, concerts, stuff that we're doing, you guys do like
Yep.
a little series about that.
yep, absolutely.
Great.
Anybody else? Questions?
Just escape me.
Okay. So I guess, do we need to approve this budget? We need to approve this.
Just need to approve the appropriation for the chamber. Should be like, yeah,
122,000.
$132,000 for 2024.
Do I have a motion?
I make a motion to receive the Chamber of Commerce proposal and direct staff to release funds to the Chamber and establish a budget for these services beginning in 2024.
Motion by Sarah, second by Aubrey. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay. This is the most exciting portion of the night.
I know you're being facetious, but for me, this is the Super Bowl. All right, so the way
Meeting like some
Get some music.
Congratulations.
beverage.
So the way the budget process works is I'll present the budget tonight. I'll present our proposed mill levy. Council will approve a proposed mill levy, and we will hold a public hearing on the night of September 18th, where we will adopt the budget and adopt to exceed the revenue neutral rate. And we'll get into all of that as we proceed through. So first of all, what the budget does, this is the financial plan for the city for the upcoming year. It is an operating plan as well for the city for the upcoming year. It shows us what our departments are going to be funded with and what services we're going to provide. So it sort of defines how we operate as a city. And the budget that I'm presenting is based on the governing body's goals and objectives, not only prior to this year, but also changes that have been made this year are reflected in this budget. It serves as a financial narrative for how we provide customer service to our residents. So when this process is all said and done, I will put together a document that will highlight the services that we provide and show the costs associated with them for the budget year. This budget includes operational costs, includes maintenance costs for the city's infrastructure, including our streets and parks, provides tools, training, and equipment needed by our employees. So this will include conferences for department heads. It will include training and training conferences for departmental staff, which would include any educational testing and things like that that our department staff do to maintain their positions. Full-time positions in the administrative, total 34 FTEs, full-time exempt positions. Administration, that's 6. That'll include our new city administrator, include myself, the chief financial officer, city clerk, accounts payable clerk, municipal court clerk, and our customer service specialist. We moved a position, the former assistant city administrator, assistant to the city administrator position, has been moved to community development as our new building inspector. We also have a community development director, which is Michael's position. We have 15 full-time positions in PD, including the chief and the others as laid out there. We've added a position to public works on the public works crews. They used to be 6, now it's 7. And we have 2 wastewater treatment operators. The proposed mill levy is going to be 31.309 mil, broken down as you see here. In the past, we have only budgeted 1 mil to the bonded interest fund, which is the fund that we use to make our debt service payments on our outstanding debt. I'm proposing that we use, we're transfer of 1.371 mils to that cost center instead, because there is no mechanism in state statute that allows us to pay for the bond for the street projects with a transfer, which is what we normally have to do. So the easiest way to do that is to just budget that money to directly go into the bonded interest funds. That's why I've made that change. And the library, we always levy 3 mils on behalf of the library. So we'll go with the general fund. The general fund is our main operating fund. It pays for 1/4 of the salaries and benefits for administration and about 1/4 for our other operating costs. The water, sewer, and street funds each also pay for about 1/4 of those costs as well. So as you see, I'm anticipating carrying forward a fund balance into the next new year of 2.7 million. Overall anticipated revenue is 4.9 million. This is just a breakdown of our major revenue sources. In blue is property tax. Gray here is sales tax. And that includes not only the city's 1% sales tax, but also a 1% tax that the city shares with the county. It also includes compensated use tax for both of those, which are essentially sales taxes paid by citizens of Goddard outside the district. So if you go buy a car in Wichita, you're going to pay sales tax at the point of sale there in Wichita, but the state's going to remit that back to the city of Goddard because it follows your zip code. So also, like if you pay for sales tax for something you buy online, that also is going to come back to the city of Goddard, compensated use tax. Franchise fees, these are taxes paid by utility providers that are have their lines in on city property. License and permits, this includes building permits, this includes dog licenses and everything else that we do out of our general fund. Charges for services, that's mostly going to be court costs and court funds. Expenditures in the general fund, this is a breakdown of the entire fund. You see our largest expenditure is personal services, which is personnel costs, that includes salaries and benefits. A lot of broken down here by departments, you can see which department is which. But by function, meaning which portion of the government accounts for most expenditures. The biggest one is going to be general government, but I'll point out later why that's so much higher than everything else. That's because we use that cost center to plug in essentially our prior year fund balance. We don't actually tend to spend all of it. We like to have reserved for non-program capital costs. Our biggest operating cost center is going to be law enforcement, which is PD, and then a smaller amount for transfers, which is that light blue there, which is money we transfer to the other funds. We'll get into that. And then community development, which is planning and zoning, code enforcement, building inspections, and then recreation and culture, that's pool, parks, city library, etc. So general government is going to be administration, mayor and city council, city hall, so expenditures we have for operations in this building itself, and then our municipal court. Law enforcement is police administration. Primarily, we have some money set aside for community outreach and for animal control as well that we budget here. But you can see the biggest chunk of this is going to be personnel costs, which is, PD is our largest department, and all of their positions are paid out of the single fund, unlike public works and admin, which are paid from multiple funds. So that's why it's such a big number there. Recreation culture, like I said, this is the pool, parks. This is parks operating costs, not capital costs. We've got our community center operating costs, library services, which is the essentially that is costs we have associated with the library building for its operations. Library operations, this is $35,000 that we directly subsidize the libraries their operations with that we do every year. And then community events, as Mayor Larkin mentioned earlier, this is costs that in the past we have used. It used to be a much higher budget. I'm budgeting like $22,000 because the rest of it we are sending to the Chamber of Commerce now. But we do still have some costs for city events that we provide, things like rentals, labor costs. Community development, this is economic development, planning and zoning, activities committee. It used to be the activities committee. That's no longer a operating cost center, but we had some small costs last year, so that's why it still showed up here. But we don't actually, the activities committee no longer exists, so we don't actually budget anything for their operations. The chamber here, you see here this number in the chamber cost center is a portion of the $132,000 that you approved. The other cost center it's going to be paid out of is that community events cost center. And then the biggest portion of it we'll get to, or another big portion of it, which we'll get to later, is the tourism promotion funds, which is where we collect transient guest tax, which is essentially hotel tax. And currently the only hotel that we actually receive that tax on is the Roadway and the Hampton. We will not receive any of that until the Star bonds are paid off. So anyway, so the chamber is getting $130,000, but it's spread out amongst different cost centers because different funding sources go into it, and that's why there's differences there. And then our interfund transfer, these are transfers from the general fund out to other funds. So you'll see here, Special Highway Street Fund. I'm proposing increasing that by $50,000, which I want to increase that by $50,000 every year for the next 4 years. That will double our total annual street maintenance budget. So as the city has grown, we have not raised that $200,000 street maintenance budget in my tenure here. So we're going to start addressing that because as the city grows, we have more streets, we have more costs with maintaining those streets. We also transfer $50,000 into the Equipment Reserve Fund. We also transfer into that fund from sewer and street. Capital Improvement Fund, this is essentially our city sales tax that we, 1% sales tax that we transfer directly. It's received in the general fund, but we transfer directly into the Capital Improvement Fund so we can use it for whatever capital projects we happen to be doing that particular year. In a couple of weeks, I'm hoping to present you with a capital budget that'll have a better, show more clearly where those funds will plan to spend in the upcoming years. You'll notice I lowered that amount from what it was last year, was $600,000. I lowered it by $90,000. That's the amount of the first payment on the bond for the street projects. And then it'll lower again because it'll be $130,000 is being that payment that year. And so because we're not receiving that extra mill and 1.3 mils that I talked about, that's getting transferred to the Montagnard Fund to make that payment. We're lowering the amount we're transferring in sales tax basically into the Capital Improvement Fund. So technically it is sales tax paying for those street projects like we'd always planned, but we're just using property tax as the offset for budgeting purposes. And then we also transfer $50,000 a year to the Special Parks and Recreation Fund. That fund is for capital improvements in the park. It is not, when we do big things like when we did the splash pad, when we did the pavilion, and the major improvements we're going to be doing on the North Parkland to get that park built, we will probably not be using much of those funds. That fund is primarily for smaller park projects. So when we did the new benches and the covers and things like that, big projects that are not as part of your normal operating costs, but not on the grand scale of building a new park like we're going to be doing on the North Park ground. So next is our street fund, the Special Revenue Fund. The street fund is funded by gas taxes from both the county and the state. And you see that there. The largest contributor in revenue to this fund is a transfer from the general fund, like I discussed, and I'm proposing to increase by $50,000, actually $55,000 first year. Costs are broken down here. Personal services, that's personnel costs, and that's 1/4 of, that includes 1/4 of administrative staff and 1/3 of all public works staff. Library fund, this fund receives the library's 3 mills that we levy on their behalf, and we use this fund to receive that money and then to pay it directly back to the library. So this is what 3 mills looks like. It's about $200,000, plus all the other associated motor vehicle and other personal property taxes. Special Parks and Recreation Fund, again, this is that Parks and Rec fund that we transfer in from the general fund to fund smaller parks projects. We ended the year with about $298,000 in fund balance. I'm anticipating we're going to spend almost the entire full amount of budgeted expenditures this year. So we're going to draw down that fund balance some, and then I anticipate at least next year, probably, I don't know if we're necessarily going to spend it, but I want to give us the budget authority to spend that much. So if we do have some ancillary smaller park projects that we want to do, in addition to whatever we end up doing on the North Park ground, we'll have these funds available for that as well. Tourism Promotion Fund. Like I said, this fund receives our transient guest tax, which is our hotel bed tax. We get about $25,000 a year, and traditionally we've been just banking that for future use. Now that we're going to be using that to pay for the Chamber of Commerce, essentially. So, like I said, we only receive about $25,000, but I'm budgeting $50,000 the next 2 years to draw down that fund balance. And then once that fund balance is drawn down almost completely, obviously we're going to have to find room in the other cost centers where we're paying the chamber for. So anyway, we're essentially what you approved fully funds the chamber at that new amount, but we're going to take advantage of the next couple of years to draw down this fund balance to make some of those payments. The CID Tanganyika Fund, this is the fund where Tanganyika, they levy 2% CID sales tax. Essentially, we receive that on their behalf and then we pay it out to them. The Bond and Interest Fund, this is our debt service funds where we make payments on all of our outstanding debt and our interest on our temp notes. I always plug in about a $6 million number here in case of needing to retire temp notes or receive a new GO bond. We always have some wiggle room to offset that on the expenditure side, which is where we put this cash basis reserve. So this basically those two numbers just give us the ability to, if we're going to retire debt, we need, and it's going to be a significant amount like we have been in the last several years. We have the ability to do that here. But mostly, like I said, this makes principal and interest payments on our GO and temp notes. And this is just a statement of our debt capacity. This is current as of our most recent issuance. So this is last year's assessed valuation. So this number is not going to be able to hold. I'll show you that here in a moment what the new one is. But basically the bottom line number here is our additional debt capacity based on that valuation is $5.8 million. And if you see here, that doesn't seem like a lot of money, but for these bond issuances that we do on, so any of this stuff here is 2023-1 step note, most of that is exempted. So even if we get another bond issue that's, we have to do another bond for a new neighborhood, it's going to be more than $5 million. A good portion of that's going to be exempt, so it's not going to all hit our debt limit. Let's present exempt column here. You can see here the refunding bond was almost completely exempt. So we're talking about a more recent GO bond. They're 22-1. 63% of that was exempt. So of the 6.6 that we issued, really 4.1 counted against. And you'll see here in a moment when I show you our new assessed valuation that this number would have to be completely recalculated because our assessed valuation went up considerably, like it has for the last several years. This is just an overall budget. This is our total budget, which includes these big numbers for bond proceeds, debt service, capital discretionary, which are our two big lines that we essentially use to carry fund balance forward. The actual operating budget is those same numbers minus those that offset for the debt service fund. This is the notice that will be published on the 7th, which is Thursday, in the paper, setting a date for the public hearing, which will be at the next city council meeting. Again, it carries forward 31.309 mills, which is our mill levy from the prior year. This is a breakdown of what a tax bill on a $200,000 home is going to look like. So the home valuation, $200,000, market, that's the market valuation. The assessed rate is 11.5% of that, which is $23,000. The total mill levy, which includes the cities, 31.3 mills, the 54.9 for the school district, 17.889 for the fire district, the county at 29.370 and 1.5 mills for the state. So the total tax on a $200,000 home is about $3,100. The city's portion of that is $720. As recommended, the City Council authorized publication of the notice of public hearing to exceed the revenue neutral rate in the budget hearing for the 2024-2025 operating budget. And just a simple voice vote. And we will have, so we have to have 2 public hearings at the next meeting. In my experience, I think this is my 15th budget for the city. One time somebody has come to the public hearing to speak, and he was in favor of us maintaining our mill levy, which is what I was proposing. So hopefully, if anybody would like to show up and speak, I'm more than happy to hear you. But traditionally, we have not had any objections. We operate a low mill levy for a city of our size in this area, and we operate a township.
Do we have any questions? Do I have a motion?
Make a motion to authorize the publication of the notice of hearing to exceed revenue neutral rate and budget hearing for the 2024-2025 operating budget.
Motion by Sarah,
Second.
second by Keaton. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Matt.
Thanks, man.
Okay, last item, item I, governing body comments. Keaton, what do you got?
I don't know how I'm supposed to follow the roller coaster of excitement we just heard.
Yeah, I know.
So I had a thought earlier and then it escaped me, so I'm going to bounce back to that real quick. When we were talking about the chamber budget, you know, something that we hear often as we get ready for growth in Goddard is that we want to maintain a small town feel. There's a reason that we all moved here or chose to stay here. And I think that funding a chamber the way that this council is key in the success to that. You know, we see the numbers. We have thousands of people show up to these events. And it's absolutely incredible to get to be a part of those events and National Night Out and the market and coming up on Fall Fest. But funding a chamber the way that we are is absolutely crucial. And so I look forward to the next few years of Angie and hopefully her getting to put some staff together to help her out because she's got a plate fuller than mine at Thanksgiving, but that's all right. That being said, the final Main Street Market is this Sunday. I'm super excited. I'm also kind of getting a little bit sad that it's over that quick, but hopefully we'll be able to do that again in the future. I think we're over 80 vendors now, which is absolutely insane. When we started it, we were aiming for 25. So 80 vendors and a couple thousand of our best friends on Main Street this Sunday. And I believe if you're going to do something, you finish strong. So we're going to have fire trucks out there, EMS, games, over 80 vendors, maybe a couple food trucks, and we're working on a couple other fun things to just make it the best family environment that we can to finish the season strong. So that's it.
Sarah?
I want to thank Brooke for pushing and bringing forth the proposed changes to hold developers and construction companies accountable for the damage that's been done so that it's not costing the citizens extra money. That's all I got.
Aubrey?
I just want to say thank you to staff. I mean, I noticed a lot of things going on that we mentioned in passing, and then all of a sudden we see results, and I just love that. Thank you guys so much. I do not admire your job, Matt. I nearly wanted to come a while ago. I'll just tell
Most
you
important
right
job in the city, man, I tell you.
But other than that, things are going well. That's about it.
Brent?
So was that number 35 car out there? Number 35? Is that going to be sold here pretty soon or what? Is it under replaced?
It'll probably get replaced next year.
Oh man, you better get some new tires on that thing. It's bald. Front and back.
Ain't nothing wrong with ball.
And I tell you what, if I take one of my company vehicles down Kellogg and I'm headed to Cheney, I always get pulled over by Highway Patrol. It just seems like every time, Highway Patrol. Checking the old tires. Oh, just follow me to the co-op. That's what they say.
Brent, this is your moment to try to buy the yellow tune boat.
No,
The
no,
77
no.
Lincoln.
He's gonna sell that to you.
Oh, yeah.
The banana mobile.
The
Yeah,
banana
the
boat.
banana-mobile.
The banana boat. Okay, few things. We got the bank transfer done, I heard, right?
We transferred about half of our funds into there. We're waiting on checks. They sent us a box of checks, but they don't work with our system, so they're going to send us new ones.
Okay.
We have deposit slips ready to go. We have everything else ready to go. We're money actively invested there. And they're
Perfect.
It's a sweep account, so it's transferring out the entire balance every night.
Yep.
So yeah, this will be the month we transition everything over. We're in the process of notifying all of our vendors and others that do direct payments to us, that we have new banking information, so.
When will we have the rest of the money over?
I, hopefully, as soon as we get checks,
Okay.
because I just want to be able to make payments on stuff if we need it.
Right, okay, perfect. Well, tonight was a good night because we're starting to tie up some of the loose ends when it comes to making our city a more formal city, making it black and white. Brooke, we've been talking about what we approved tonight for quite a while. Each development that comes into Goddard needs to have the same process every single time. And historically, we've woken up in a new day every day when a development wants to come in. Right now, I have staff working on a fee structure in place to where if a development comes in and they tap into existing infrastructure, we have a per square foot charge. So they're all working on that. We have a new, I guess, plan working on rural housing incentive districts. The state of Kansas increased their I guess, allowance for RHIDs from 10,000 in population to 60,000. So that's going to be on the horizon. Community centers getting worked on. It's looking good.
Yes, it is, and we'll be coming as council probably to kind of give you an update on the progress and some things we found, but it's moving forward. We're kind of in a pause mode now. We learned some things with permitting that we didn't know, and so we have to have our designs reviewed by an architect for MABCD. So we're kind of on a pause now. Once that's done, we'll go back to work and everything should be good to go.
Okay. Well, there's not much left. And I got to say, we've accomplished a hell of a lot in less than a year. And so hopefully this will be good for Goddard with the chamber. I think this is going to be huge. Being able to actually have a formal process just every year funding you guys. And we're getting real value out of it, unlike what we had last year. So, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Sarah.
Second.
Second by Keaton. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye.